Well, I'm on the farm here and in my barn, and I've got a couple of kicker wagons with some. This is third cutting hay. It's some nice stuff, and I've got some kicker wagons here that the tires, as bad as they are, they hold air. The uprights might be a little bit bowed out like that one, but they're functional and usable. But I also have running gears that need decks built, which I've talked about a lot. Right over there is one half of an Alice Chandler's running gear, but I also have some hay wagons that need some work, and some of them need a little bit of work, some of them need a lot of work. Maybe they all need some heavy work. This is one of the steel wagons I bought last spring, and I feel like it's usable, but this deck is really on its last leg, and so I want to take this wagon, and I may use it even this year just like it is. This steel work right in here is like some kind of cattle feeder that a guy made, and when he sold me the wagon, he didn't want to take it off. He said, "You can just have that." So we'll probably send it to the scrap yard, or maybe use it for scrap, pieces of angle if we're welding something up on here. But this is an 8x16 wagon, and I'm not sure what this rig is right here, but it almost looks like the tailgate. They've got it wired on there. It almost looks like the tailgate's about ready to fall off of this thing. And it'd be my luck, I'd hit it with a bale and it would come right off. But this wagon needs some work. So this wagon right here, it started off as just a flatbed wagon. Actually, when I got my hands on it, it was parked in a fence row. And we pulled it out when we were baling off our New Holland baler, and even the John Deere, and stacking as we went. And the wood on here, this is not very good wood. It's like loblolly pine, but it's in bad shape. The deck needs to be rebuilt. The wind took the sides and literally ripped them off of the deck. Otherwise, the running gear and the beams going down the side, going down the length of the trailer, are in pretty good shape. The tires are good. I mentioned in another video that there's only one wagon that I've ever bought new tires for, and this one is it. And that's because they were 14-inch wheels. I don't know why, but so I'm gonna try to pull this thing out here over the winter, maybe this fall. I might try to do it sooner than later. I'm not real sure, but I want to put this thing back into service. And I got a decent running gear under it. It's not a heavy running gear, but it's fine for an 8x16 farm wagon. So if I've got 3 kicker wagons in the barn, I can add 2 more. It'll bring me up to 5. So let's go look at the next basket case. Alright, so this wagon right here is the next junker wagon that needs to be rebuilt, and this has got a great running gear under it. It's a Knowles, I think that's what it is. Let me look here and see if I can see. Knowels. And when I looked at the model number on this thing, it's actually, the wheelbase from side to side is actually wider to my understanding, than some of my other running gears. And I don't recall why that was an option, but you could buy them that way. So it's a really stable wagon. And we'll get on some of these hills a little bit. So I bought this wagon at an auction one time, and it just had a flat deck on it, and that's the way we used it. And then I added these pockets. I knew this was going to need to be rebuilt, so I didn't want to spend a pile of money on it. And I added these pockets, which I got a bushel basket full of those things laying around here. And I put 2x4, treated 2x4s on it, which surprisingly have held up really, really well. You know, I've always kind of been of the opinion everything on a farm wagon needs to be made out of oak. But I'm coming to change my mind on that, because I mean these have been on there for a number of years, and they're not exactly rotten, rotting down. But you know, I've replaced a couple of cross members on it, and I think one there and then one down here. But this wagon got caught up in a couple of windstorms and flipped over. You've seen it in some of my other videos. And so, in spite of all that, I think I can rebuild it. I mean, this will probably have to be replaced. I may reinforce that beam right there. I don't know that I'll get rid of it. I may just put another 2x8 down through there alongside that one to give it a little more strength. I don't know that I need these things on there. Probably if I needed them anywhere, they'd be on the back where that bale hits the back of that wagon and busts those boards out. But so this one's on the round to it list. You can see this thing, the way it's. Let me back up here. That's not a good situation right there. So, but this thing flipped over twice, and when I put these racks on there, I just knew that at some point it was going to need rebuilt. Instead of spending a pile of money on a deck, what I did was I had some, I think this was 1/2-inch plywood, and I just laid it down on the deck, and I screwed it down on one end. I didn't pin it all down on all sides. I let it kind of float. And it actually worked really good. It was a little slick if you were up in the wagon, but, you know, it flexed with the wagon. And I don't know that I wouldn't do that again. In some ways, by having the plywood on there, it gave shelter to these boards coming across. So there's a lot of good things about this wagon. The the fact that it's got a good running gear on it, and all of these angles are already cut and holes bored into them. I don't have to recreate all that stuff like I do when I build a deck from scratch. So I want to do some work on this thing and put it back in service. I feel like I can use the racks again. Just need to give them a place that they can stake into the pockets, and I should be good to go. So we've seen 3 wagons here that need repairs and decks, and at different degrees. But again, if I've got 3 wagons in the barn that are functional, and I add 3 to them, on these kind of wagons right here, I can easily get 120, 125 bales on them. The way the John Deere pan kicker will just stack the front of the wagon up. You've seen me talk about in some of the other videos. It's amazing how high I can go in the front off of that baler, John Deere square baler with that pan kicker. And so, you know, if it's 125 bales and I've got 6 wagons, you know, we're looking at what, 600, 750 bales of hay in one day, potentially, in the barn by myself. And since I'm kind of an army of one, this is very good. I have enough running gears to do 10. And I don't know that I'll do 10. I might do 9 and then make a flat wagon just for hauling round bales. But I might do 10 and buy another wagon. If you keep your eyes peeled, you can find a running gear cheap. These things are so cheap that the pan kicker, the belt thrower, and kicker wagons, even though they're obsolete, and everything today has got to be an accumulator grapple, and that's all good. But you know, I'd make one trip across the field, and I've baled my hay, and I've got it in the wagons, and you know, it's a short ride to the barn, and it's out of the weather until I deal with it another day. And so this is a good, this makes square baling nice here on this farm. So definitely want to put this thing back in service, and I'll be trying to figure out what to do with this one. And you know, just like the steel wagon we looked at over there, it's easier to make a deck from scratch in a lot of ways, because you're not dealing with anything that's already there. But with this wagon and the steel wagon, trying to do repairs on the deck and things like that, with the racks kind of sitting up here, it's almost like remodeling a bathroom. And you know, nothing is square, and you got to tear things out to get things in, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's the video. The junk kicker wagons. Hopefully, between now and spring, I'll have these things back into service, and might have one or two of them in service before we're done cutting hay this year. We'll see. Whatever I can't get into the wagons will go into a round bale for now, assuming I can get the round baler to work. So that's the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share, and we'll talk to you later.